It is the night before her only daughter's wedding, and Kavita Oberoi is sorting through a childhood jewelry box. She expects to find the usual remnants of a girl's life: faded ribbons, plastic hair clips, and cheap costume trinkets. Instead, near the bottom of the box, her hands close around something unmistakable. Kavita stares at the ring as the room seems to tilt around her. The discovery of this specific object induces a sudden, sickening wave of horror, suggesting that the order she built her life around was founded on a catastrophic lie. This is her grandmother's antique diamond ring. It is exactly as she remembers it, and exactly as it was the day it vanished from her dressing table 11 years earlier, an event that triggered a massive fallout and changed the trajectory of two families. 11 years ago, Kavita's life was defined by social status and the precise management of her wealthy household. She relied on a small domestic staff, including a quiet, hard-working young maid named Sushila. Sushila cooked, cleaned, and cared for Kavita's then 7-year-old daughter, Ananya, with a gentleness the family appreciated. That appreciation ended the morning the antique ring went missing. Kavita searched her room, found nothing, and arrived at a swift, unquestioning certainty: Sushila had stolen it. This visual logic equation demonstrates exactly how Kavita reached that conclusion without a single piece of physical evidence. She relied on a flawed formula, substituting the maid's proximity to the room and her family's financial struggles in place of actual proof. Based on that assumption, the police were called. As the equation funnels into a timeline of consequences, we see the results. Sushila was taken from the house in handcuffs, while 7-year-old Ananya watched from the top of the stairs. The young maid spent 4 months in custody before the case was dropped, but her reputation was destroyed, and she disappeared from the neighborhood entirely. This creates a massive narrative vacuum. An innocent woman's life was dismantled by a wealthy mother's unquestioned prejudice, while the true culprit stood completely silent on the staircase. Returning to the present night, Kavita confronts her daughter with the ring. Ananya offers no defense. She immediately breaks down, her face showing the specific, guilty recognition of someone facing a truth they have buried for over a decade. The theft was an act of childhood curiosity. During a game of dress-up, 7-year-old Ananya slipped the sparkling ring into her pocket, fully intending to return it before anyone noticed she had taken something forbidden. That intention was paralyzed by the arrival of the police and Kavita's obvious rage. Terrified of the consequences, the child hid the ring and watched in silence as an innocent woman was arrested for her mistake. Over the next 11 years, that silence calcified. The fear of destroying her relationship with her mother and undoing years of pretending the theft never happened made the truth feel impossible to speak. A decade of silence behaves like a physical weight. It becomes a permanent architectural feature of a relationship that grows heavier and more impossible to escape with every year that passes without correction. Kavita realizes that her daughter's silence was only half the tragedy. Her own prejudiced assumption was the root catalyst. She had created an environment where her own child was too terrified to tell the truth. This structural map illustrates proximity bias. A thick barrier insulates the wealthy accuser from doubt, while a magnetic pole of suspicion targets the lower-income subject. The map shifts, redirecting the burden of proof. Kavita's status bypassed logical checks, forcing Sushila to defend against assumed guilt. Kavita spends a long, silent hour processing her daughter's confession. She realizes the order of her household was a facade built on a ruined life. This truth makes the upcoming wedding rehearsal, the ultimate public performance of her family's status, feel like an impossible task. She abandons the rehearsal entirely, choosing instead to hire an investigator to find the discarded woman. The investigator finds Sushila within a week. She is living 4 hours away, having spent the last decade rebuilding a quiet life as a seamstress. Recognizing your own internal bias is meaningless unless it drives you to locate and confront the real-world damage it caused. Kavita travels to the small town alone. She stands on Sushila's doorstep, an elegantly dressed woman carrying the ring and a confession. She brings no excuses, only the truth. Kavita tells her everything, offering a public legal retraction and financial restitution. She makes these offers without asking for forgiveness, understanding she has no right to expect it. Sushila listens in silence. She shows no anger, only a weary, guarded surprise. Her voice is steady, the result of years spent making peace with an injustice in the only way she could, by moving on without an apology. Sushila spent years hating the world for what happened to her, but as she worked at rebuilding a life from nothing, she realized that hatred is a heavy weight to carry. Eventually, she chose to set it down for her own sake. Victims of systemic injustice often abandon vengeance out of the sheer, exhausting necessity of survival. Hatred is a luxury that requires too much energy to sustain. Setting it down is often a practical requirement for moving forward. Sushila issues a final mandate. She does not need Kavita to fix the past, but she demands that Kavita ensure this never happens to anyone else. Practical restitution follows. Ananya personally funds the expansion of Sushila's seamstress business over the following years, a gesture Sushila accepts as a small, tangible good built from unnecessary harm. Kavita establishes a foundation dedicated to providing legal protection and support for domestic workers who face similar false accusations from wealthy employers. Kavita never fully forgives herself for her initial suspicion. She chooses to carry that unresolved guilt deliberately, letting it inform every judgment she makes about the people who work in her home and the people her foundation protects. Accountability means living permanently with the uncomfortable weight of a mistake. The guilt becomes a functional part of a person's character, a constant reminder used to protect others from the same prejudice that caused the original harm.